Welcome to Deep River Farm, folks. I appreciate you joining me today. I told you on the video called Big Farming Goes Farming that we was going to complete that video and let you know about the application of the Motel Romeo November Alpha, the application that they're planning on using. So just to give you a run-up, what we talked about is the seed companies and the pharmaceutical companies are now one and the same. Monsanto joined Bayer, and there's other ones out there doing the same thing. Let me give you a little history on the the food industry and how this sort of started coming about. Back in the day, when the tobacco companies were so big, you had your big players like Marlboro and R.J. Reynolds and Lord Tobacco and all these big tobacco companies. And the government wanted to come in to be able to take over, regulate, and tax the cigarette industry. And the cigarette industry did a fantastic job at keeping up with ways to use those methods of creating addiction. Just all kinds of chemicals, all kinds of makeups, all kinds of procedures. Whoops. And all that stuff. Sorry about that, folks. We had a catastrophe. But, yeah, that's what they done. So we wanted to give you a little bit of a rundown on how that happened. So back when that was taking place, we can't say it too many times. Let's just call them the puffer company. The puffer companies then started buying up things like Kraft Foods and in other words, they got involved in the food side of things from the industry, the puffing industry. And what generated from that was these scientists and stuff that was already known to be able to get this stuff in the puffer industry so addictive. They would blame it on the nicotine, which was an addictive thing, but there was also, I heard at one time, somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 to 600 different chemicals that made up the puffers. So they started working in the food industry because the puffing industry had employed all these scientists. These scientists started putting and adding chemicals in the food to make the food addictive. That's where a big problem of your obesity and things is coming from, because all these foods are man-made, and a lot of them are transplants from the puffer industry over into the food industry, and they make all this stuff addictive. And it's there's a lot of people that's been addicted to the headache powders and things like that. So that's some chemicals and things that's been in there that they can put in it and make people addicted to things. So let's get back to what we're talking about here, and this is the application for this stuff to be put on your food. Now, what we're speaking of is the genetically modified organisms, and they're trying to use vegetables as a way to force people to take the Motel Romeo November Alpha, the poke in the food. So the company that's behind this, Moderna, and their parent company, Flagship, is using this company called Tirana, and they're from a traditional genetically modified crops is the method of delivery. Instead of altering the DNA in a lab, their Motel Romeo November Alpha technology is sprayed directly onto the leaves. And this enters through micro tears in the plant's surface where it begins programming the plant from the inside out. These changes are not temporary. They're what they call heritable, and they're carried forward into the seeds of the next generation of plants. So if you have heirloom seeds and this stuff gets on them, your seed that you have is ruined from ever taking those plants and taking seeds off of them. That seed line is destroyed, more or less. The Tirana, if I'm saying it right, calls these applications programmable plant vaccines. Their promotional language stresses they are simply working in the plant's native language, as if the reprogramming of natural life systems by biotech algorithms is a general form of conversation, not radical intervention. Well, I'd say that would be a matter of opinion there. So you see what's going on. This stuff is sprayed onto the plant leaves, and from that point on, it absorbs through the plant, goes into the cells, and the seeds off of that plant then transform this plant for future generations to come as, I guess you'd say, infected by the Motel Romeo November Alpha. It's eerily similar to how the pharmaceutical industry pitched the injections called the poke to the public during the pandemic as being safe, natural, and effective. So this is where big ag meets big pharma. This is where it's all going to be a problem. These are not farmers seeking to breed more resilient crops. These are data scientists and genetic engineers with decades of experience manipulating the DNA, the RNA, and the protein pathways for corporate purposes. Show me the money. That's what it's all about. The leaderships at this Tyrannas reads like a who's who of genetic engineering. Their team includes veterans from Monsanto, Bayer crop scientists, Roche, Thermo Fisher, and other ag, tech, and protein pathways companies. These are data scientists and genetic engineers with decades of experience manipulating the DNA, RNA, and protein pathways, period. They're not farmers. These are scientists. Now, Monsanto, now Bayer, is pushing its own RNA-based tech under a brand called BioDirect, claiming it is based on natural molecules, but there's nothing natural about global RNA spraying campaigns from planes or about applying AI-driven synthetic molecules to the entire ecosystem. So here's the plan, folks. Sprayed from the sky, designed in the lab. They admit its products are being developed for tank mixing solutions that can be applied en masse via crop dusters, drone fleets. This isn't your backyard gardening. It's agricultural on an industrial scale, a corporate scale, and it's meant to be airborne. And that raises serious questions. So how is this going to be controlled so that it's not contaminating neighbors' fields and potential transformation of non-target plants, including those of the organic nature? And this isn't a hypothetical. We've already seen lawsuits over the genetically modified crops drifting onto organic farms and corrupting the genetics. The Tyrannas RNA spray could do the same, only faster, more pervasively, and with lasting generational effects. So, folks, there's the plan. airborne, mass spraying, industrial scale for corporate farms with no labeling applied because vegetables don't have labels. I bet many of you never have seen a label in the grocery store about the appeal that they have, and they claim it's just as safe as it can be, but they won't produce the ingredients to make the stuff to show people what's in it because they're claiming it's a trade secret. And if it's so much of a safety for the people and it's all natural, why would you hide it? It's a good question, isn't it? So they're going to use this spray thing with the Motel Romeo November Alpha as they're going to use the climate panic as a cover story for this to go through. And we're going to talk about this on another video. I don't want to get too long because people get to where they're impatient and they don't stay focused on what the truth is that's coming out. I want you folks to hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, and leave a comment, not only on the live chat, but in the comment section of the video, because we're being shadow banned heavy, folks, for putting the truth out there. They don't like it. It's killing their agenda, their campaigns, and everything else that they're running on this stuff for, and they don't want the general public to know the truth. Folks, I appreciate you folks joining us this afternoon and continuing to support us here at Operation Mountain Relief as we're trying to get the stories out about what's going on with all these corporate farms trying to come in and take over the farms of Western North Carolina. We just want people to know what the whole, I'd say the big picture is and what's going on with all the illegal mining, all the big corporate farms waiting to slip in and take these other farms out from under people, so that everybody knows what to expect down the road if this is allowed to happen. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day.